So this topic of anti-inflammatories, again, I'm sure you hear a lot of these questions in your clinic. We hear lots of questions. So what is an anti-inflammatory?
Well, an anti-inflammatory is a medication that you would take to decrease inflammation, typically from an injury or some sort of autoimmune response, immune disorder. So there's various different kinds of medications that you can take, different supplements. But typically when you're talking about an anti-inflammatory, you're thinking about pain relief.
One might have pain. Let's say they fell and they twisted their knee. Would you suggest taking an anti-inflammatory right away? Would you suggest waiting a couple of days?
You could start taking them right away, especially if you have an acute onset of pain. You want to combine that therapy with, the RICE protocol, which is rest, ice, compression, and elevate, as well as adding an anti-inflammatory such as Advil, Motrin, ibuprofen, naproxen. Some of those are the over-the-counter medications that you can take that are anti-inflammatory as well as pain relieving.